Hey everyone, I'm Wagsy. Welcome to WAGSY'S world. Today's subject is what makes U2 great. One of the great bands of all time, and one that changed rock music big time. Please remember to like, subscribe, ring the bell. We're still trying to get our 100 subscribers. That's our goal we're trying to meet. Help us with that. Tell your friends, family, and keep watching to the end of this video, because I'm going to have the top 10 Irish bands or musicians, people that came from Ireland. And then also I'm going to do a short review on an Irish whiskey. So stay tuned to the end. Okay, let's get started with U2. What makes U2 great? U2 formed in 1976 in Dublin, Ireland. Bono on vocals, The Edge on guitar. His name's David, by the way. Adam Clayton on bass, and Larry Miller Jr. playing the drums. When he joined the band, he was 14 years old. Now, they were primarily a cover band from 76 to 80, doing like playing in high school gyms and private parties type of deal. Then in 1981, they got their break and they opened for the band Thin Lizzy. Now, during this era, they were also involved in a Christian band. This shaped them as far as religious beliefs and inspired them to use spirituality in their lyrics. And they did so big time, and especially in their early albums. Now, 1983 was basically the kickoff of U2, the album War. That was their first big album released and it was released in 1983. Now, by 1985, Rolling Stone magazine said that they were the band for the next 10 years. They predicted they would be the band for the next 10 years. So that's some good news from the critic front. Now let's go to some other critics' comments. They said the vocals were impassioned, high-register belting singing that covered 3 octaves by Bono. As far as the guitar, chiming and echoing notes that the Edge was famous for. And Jimmy Page during that time said that the Edge was a sonic architect. Now, the band always had an inventiveness to them, and no 2 albums sounded exactly the same. They were always a little different. So they're a very inventive band. That's what the critics like as well. Now here's the big one. U2, 22 Grammy Awards. That's more than any band. Any band. 22. They had 14 albums and 170 million records. That's amazing. That's so many records, so many albums. They had, listen to this one, they had the number 1 album, or a number 1 album, not the, a number 1 album in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. No one else did that. And their tours were some of the biggest tours of all time. Now those are the critics' accolades and awards, and the fans proved they were great through album sales and tours. Now let's talk about why I think U2 is great. I remember buying the War album in 1983. I was blown away how different it sounded. Amazing vocals. The unique guitar playing was so unique. And also the spiritual lyrics were new to rock music, at least top of the mark with rock music. There was a lot of Christian rock played, but as far as a number 1 band doing it, unheard of, really. Now the albums that I loved, and I own them all, of these albums: War, Joshua Tree, Unforgettable Fire, Rattle and Hum, Achtung Baby. To me, I think about the Mount Rushmore of rock and roll. And for me, I know there's Chuck Berry. He invented it, basically. But let's go to the next phase. I feel like Elvis pushed the rock of rock and roll up to Mount Rushmore. And then once he got up there, the faces on Mount Rushmore to me should be the Rolling Stones from the 60s, Led Zeppelin from basically the 70s, and Van Halen from the mid-70s to the mid-80s. And then U2 from the mid-80s to the mid-90s, basically 85 to 95. To me, those are the four faces of the bands on the Mount Rushmore of rock and roll. Now, that rock that Elvis pushed up there, I feel like Green Day pushed that rock back down. I think they are a very historic band as well. And there hasn't been much since Green Day, in my opinion, as far as changing rock music. So I gave you the rock and roll going up, the Mount Rushmore, and the rock and roll going down. That's my opinion. Here's some little known facts about U2. Joshua Tree was the fastest selling British album in history. Bono bought 1.5% of Facebook in 2010. You know what that's worth now? They say $1 billion. Good investment. The next one. Bono wears sunglasses because he has severe glaucoma. I definitely did not know that. Edge has his nickname because the shape of his nose. That's kind of a crazy one. They're the only band to be on the cover of, they're one of only 4 bands that have been on the cover of Time magazine. The others, The Who, The Band, and The Beatles. So some very good company there for you too. Now, as far as getting to those top Irish musicians, here we go, in no particular order. U2, been talking about them right now. Flogging Molly, very popular. Rory Gallagher, great guitarist. Hendrix loved him. Sinead O'Connor, Thin Lizzy, the Dubliners, Gilbert O'Sullivan, I think he was alone again, naturally. Enya, my wife loves Enya. The Cranberries, I love the Cranberries. And one of my favorites, Van Morrison. So some pretty good bands came out of Ireland. There's 10 of them anyway. Now I'm going to get to that Irish whiskey review that I promised you. Here it goes. Tullamore Dew. Tullamore Dew, and this one is in a Caribbean rum cask finish. Normally it's in a pot still. This is 86 proof, 3 times distilled, gives it the lighter color versus bourbon or Scotch even. So let's see what we can get out of this. There's not much in here. Looks like Wagsy and others have maybe been at it. Is this going to be a bottle kill? Let's call it a bottle kill. Officially bottle kill. Okay, here we go. Very sweet nose, probably from the rum casks. Light though. Oh, very tasty, as I remember. Yes, it's complex and it has some viscosity to it, which that part's kind of surprising me. I don't remember that. Very tasty, drinkable Irish whiskey though. I recommend. Very good. Well, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell, tell a friend, and we will see you next time.
WAGSY'S World, WAGSY'S World, it's awesome. WAGSY'S World, WAGSY'S World.